fight's not over.
Stop the fight!
People.
Everybody, I come here for everybody. Kill everybody. I'm the champ. I'm the king. Kill everybody. Ah!
All right, guys, Lane back here with Broke Bets. We just polished off 2022 UFC betting, and I just want to do a full recap on all the results we had, be transparent, so you guys can see how we did, best betting strategies, and all that. At the end of the video, I kind of want to go over Kennedy versus Strickland last time, but yeah, let's just talk about the results for the year. So, ended up 22.23 units in profit. I think that's a pretty good number for what we started off with, like having no data and all that. 8.48 ROI. I mean, the units may not look as appeasing to other people, but ROI is kind of the number actually that matters. Our fight record: 245 wins, 155 losses, 61.25 pitch percentage. It's, I think, pretty standard for the grouping. We don't pick with our heart on the line. We more bet with our heart on the line. So our bets mean more, I think, than our picks do. So, but yeah, some of the things we started this year, I ended up playing a lot of plus money stuff at plus 200. You can see plus 200 is one of the worst categories for betting for us. I think I got way too caught up in betting far props, and it kind of just destroyed however many cards in a row. I mean, you can kind of see all these negative results. I'm going to pull my camera over here. All these negative results over and over and over and over and over. And I kind of just stopped doing it later on, and it's subtracting less. And out of all the odd ranges, easily that was the worst. Obviously, the plus money range 100 to 150, I think that's where you kind of hit the best rounds options as well. But again, the 200 plus options, I think that also destroyed the prop category for us early. You can see some big minuses there. As we get down to the win streaks, kind of at the end of the year we had, you can kind of see a lot of the good, consistent winning is coming from this prop section. You're able to clear some of that out. And it really is one of our most profitable section, which it was at one point our most negative. I made a simple little plot down here. It's got the numbers below it, but week by week how we went through and how results shaved out. So maybe the plot didn't update. Anyways, the idea is that the props started off real bad and it started to consistently climb, and I think we found our better results, and you can kind of see how this climbed way better. Again, we had two really good win streaks this year. Best card, Gan versus Tuivasa. We also had a sweep on Lewis versus Spivak card. Obviously, main event canceled there. Worst card, Vera versus Cruz. We just parlayed way too much stuff up there, I remember. Some things to take note about here. Straight betting weight classes. Flyweights were perfect this year for us. I think it's just the easiest weight class to actually predict. They're not going to be as heavily, as much knockout power. And, there's just less variability. I think they have better cardio, and there's just things you can kind of inspect that are better. So, yeah, we had a perfect year on flyweight. As we go up, bantamweight, featherweight, nothing special. Lightweight and welterweight, also two of the better categories here. Killing it on. Middleweight, light, heavyweight. Heavyweight is kind of one of our avoided weight classes. Just don't even fuck with it. Straight betting women's stuff. Personally, midway through the year, I stopped straight betting women's fights. I just couldn't get a great read on many things. Was losing on it consistently. Didn't really need to be involved in it. Mostly the women's things I like to look for is actually live betting, because I think I have a better idea sometimes on how things will be judged. If you just cross-reference, sometimes DraftKings will pop up the odds on the board and they're way off, and you can find a snipe on them lines sometimes. Fighter parlays for this section, two-leggers were negative, and I think this just stems from having not as many heavy favorites maybe connected together. You might have like a minus 170 with a minus 220, some weird combination that leaves a little bit more scariness to the parlay. Three legs, pretty great on. I think the second UFC London card, we had a pretty thick amount. Again, I didn't mention, but we didn't actually do betting for the full year, or we didn't keep track of everything. Blades versus Dawkins was the first card, so I think that was in March. But yeah, three legs are pretty decent. Four legs, just trying to stop doing them as I went forward. Value. If I know a lot of you guys like the big parlays and stuff. Personally, I like to do consistent winning stuff, like on this spreadsheet, and then like with my play money, my fun money, I like to do like bet slips at a casino, where you can put like 8 legs on something, not just fighters, but like rounds and other stuff to have a little more fun with. Round betting, so the first category would just mean any of these other 4 considered. So any round bet, it's an over, under, fight goes the distance, fight doesn't go the distance, and we did positive on this as well this year, and under is just the way to go. I think you can really get a read. Sometimes these overs can get really inflated and destroyed, but the unders are a great read. You just know some fights are going to be high pace and someone will crumple. You're just going to have an angle on things. I think there's a lot of finishes this year. That was also part of what went into it. I think there's like 3 or 4 events where there was like 8 to 10 finishes. So, great category. I always suggest round betting to people. Easier angle on competitive fights. Even though things like, when we just saw like the Drew Dober, Bobby Green fight, and most people had that one start round 3 or over 2.5. Sometimes you think the reads are right, but then Drew Dober does something crazy. Rounds parlayed. This just is an over with an over, an over with an under with an under. Just anything that has to do with rounds being parlayed. Another one of our best categories. Fighters in rounds, another one of our best categories. We have 10.58 units. That might be our best category out of any. I just feel like, again, you can mix an over 2.5 with someone reliable and pull off pretty good wins there. Method of victories, always hard to get a great read on it. I've told myself now that the method of victory has to be obvious in order to bet it. So, like, for example, Jack Della Maddalena, he won us 0.86 units, I remember, on most recent card, because he was really favored to get a knockout. I still like that spot. I think the number sometimes is a big deal, but I started seeking out, the big prop plays, and, I hit Matt Schnell by sub earlier this year for like 2 units or something. Maybe it was that one. But I just think overall, unless it's dead obvious, I think the best win I had for by sub was Hamzat by submission versus Kevin Holland. I just felt like I had an angle on that one. By decision, I feel like I always pick these people that were to go to decision. So like Bill Algeo to beat Herbert Burns by decision, and Herbert Burns I kind of forgot has durability, or no durability, and would kind of lose inside the distance, whereas Bill Algeo's a distance guy. So I kind of stopped doing as many by decisions. I think that you can kind of just play the over and get both people involved, possibly. And for finishes, I did okay this year on finishes. I think the main thing is you see a big favorite. One I liked was Sadiq Yusuf. He beat Don Shainis, and he's just a way bigger guy. He's a big favorite for a reason. You can expect him to find those finishes. And I liked certain people that are huge favorites and somehow aren't favored for a finish. It's a weird thing. And then finally, I made the category of women's fights. So how I justified this was that if I made a parlay with a chick in it, or a chick outcome, like over rounds, with a guy's outcome, if the chick outcome went through, I didn't subtract it. But if the chick outcome burned the parlay, I subtracted it here. We actually went positive with women's betting, which I actually felt like we were losing money on. I kind of outlawed a lot of it for a while, but there definitely is a lot more variability and unpredictability with the grappling, I think, side of the sport with chicks. I finally made another category. I didn't make another. Okay, one of the other categories I could have made, I did not because it won't be that filled out, was injuries. We lost 6.7 units this year just on injuries, and I think we were on the wrong side of every one. Rakic, Aspinall, Ortega, and Cater. Those are all the four, and we're on the opposite side of all of those. But for robberies, I just took our close decisions. I just said that anything that went near a split decision, or the decision didn't seem obvious, I added either in our favor or against us. So I think that one just comes from the Piotr Jan and Aljamain Sterling fight. Obviously, we have pulled out wins from this, like Patty the Batty gave us that number down here. But overall, I think it is decent to keep track of that stat. Like, am I getting burned? Am I not getting burned? I feel like I'm getting burned. But yeah, I think this is a pretty solid year. I'm trying to upgrade these stats a little bit more, and hopefully we can translate the winning ways to the next year and repeat these results. So I'm going to talk about maybe some goals for 2023. Okay, some goals for 2023 UFC betting. You say we just made 22.23 units this year. I want to boost that up to 35 plus units for 2023. I think that we lost on some of the summer events, maybe lack of knowledge on certain bet sizing and stuff like that. I think we can accomplish this. Maybe even 40 units is another good attainable one, but let's go gradual. 35 for this next year. Maintain an ROI of 10% or better. Kind of just goes along with the winning units thing. We want to win more than we risk, or we want to win a good amount of what we risked back. And I just think that we should be able to get 10%. Keep a win percentage above 63%. So we were at 61 point something percent. I want to get up above 63. We know the fighters even better than we did the years before, and should know a lot more now. Get a 6-week win streak. We just got 5 to end the year. I want to take that next step. Let's just boost it up one more to stay consistent. Next, don't lose more than 4 units on a card. I think we had like 2 or 3 cards. We had like Andrade Lemos, Vera versus Cruz, and one other one that we just like dumped units down the drain. It was bad, and I don't want to repeat that. I want to lose, like, if I lose on a card, I want to lose 3 or less, and hopefully 1 or less, like if we can, and do better the opposite way. I want to make 6 plus units on a card. It pretty much goes along with one big sweep. We made 7.6 on a card this year. I just want to repeat that. That felt so good to make that much at one night. I want to get 4 clean sweeps. We got 2 for 2022, and I think that we can repeat that. I really feel like if we got 2 in the fall when we were fining things down, doing less degenerate betting, we're going to hit that. We're going to hit the 4 clean sweeps. Go positive on all odd ranges, so any of that plus 200 and above bullshit, either stay away from it or go positive on it when we actually know something. Do not want to repeat losing in the same category and look like an idiot. And then finally, I want to win in all these weight classes again. Flyweight, we didn't win bantamweight, so I want to repeat. I want to do that. Featherweight, lightweight, welterweight, and middleweight. For straight betting, I feel like these are the most attacked, best weight classes to go for. Light heavyweight stuff is just a little dicey sometimes. There's some low-level people. Heavyweight, again. Chick fights, again, we don't really get as involved with. More on the round side of chick fights. But I may add more to this, but I think this is a good start for setting up some success for 2023. I hope you guys tailed some of these picks this year, especially in the fall, and had some success. And let's make more for next year. So thanks for following our picks for this year. I'm planning on doing maybe like a broke bets, like top 10s video, like top 10 fights, knockouts, submissions, all that shit for the year. And I hope you guys enjoy the content. Like and subscribe as always, and peace. Whoops, negate that piece. We're still here. I forgot to do the Cannonier vs. Strickland recap. Real quick, negative 0.67 units on the final card. Starting off, had Bobby Green, and he had the fight pretty well. We kind of expected that how things were going to go. He was going to outstrike Drew Dober, just whether Drew Dober is Drew Dober, and Drew Dober was Drew Dober. Had a fire hydrant of a chin, and landed a bomb. And I don't regret anything about that bet. It was a good fight, and lost there. Rafa Garcia won for us, although I was super nervous that it was going to end due to the amount of blood he had lost and shit. But yeah, easy bet. He pretty much controlled the whole fight. Said Nurmagomedov versus Kakramanov. Bet Nurmagomedov at plus money here. I love the spot. Kakramanov just didn't really seem to do much damage in that fight, and Nurmagomedov had like 4 submission attempts. Like the first guillotine seemed to get his arms pretty tired. He did try another guillotine, missed it. Tried one more, missed it, and then finally got the one. I love that submission. He's got a nasty guillotine. But yeah, phenomenal fight. But again, you gotta Kakramanov. If he would have gone for a little bit more damage, he might have actually put Nurmagomedov in some bad positions. Moving down, Morozov and Matthews had parlayed together. Matthews just ruined everyone's night. He moved backwards the whole entire fight, and he tried to replicate what he did to Fiallo in this fight. That small cage though made it hard for him to move. I didn't like that whenever he touched Matt Semmelsberger, he just sat there. I just stunned him. I'll let him recover. You need some urgency. He hurt him, got him off balance a couple of times, and just let him recover until Semmelsberger touched him again, and his chin didn't really hold up. I don't know, hard to say exactly where he goes from that spot, but Semmelsberger, I guess, has good power, and rifled up that right hand pretty well. Next, Amir Albazi, Kopp, and Arosa. Kopp, just a more damaging person against Dvorak. Albazi, patient until we said he's twitchy. Let's see in the range, pop the dude. Exactly kind of what happened. Erosa, he looked so good versus Hakeem Dawodu. I kind of thought he'd repeat the results here, but Caceres just controlled distance. Erosa looked slow, and that head kick was pretty wild. Caceres had... I've never seen anyone have their hands their torso so over to the side and then have that leg kick or that head kick come so late. And it came so late, but it was timed so perfect, and it got Erosa. Also kind of bizarre, his legs didn't seem to work for the next minute after that knockout. And then, prop bets. We thought if Cannonier won by KO, turned out to go to decision. He did hit Sean with some big shots, but Sean, pretty sound defensively, knew how to handle the situation, the sparring experience. And then finally, again, plus 200, probably shouldn't have done it. Finally, over 2.5 rounds in the Sarukian Ismagulov fight, hit pretty easily. Demir had some moments on the stand-up which could have made you a little nervous, but and there's maybe some submission attempts from Arman that made me a little nervous, but overall we knew it was going to be a competitive high-level fight, and over 2.5 played. And then Olajaychuk, Cody Brennan shoots for a takedown, Olajaychuk grounds and pounds him out. Pretty fucking awesome. But yeah, you know, if we would have hit one of those parlays, we could have turned the night around, but not living with a bunch of regret. You know, you live and you learn. Matthews kind of ruined a lot of people's nights. I'm not going to sit here and scream at him, but anyway, now we can go back. Peace.
I know. It doesn't matter from the trenches. I'm built like this. The old doubted me said I couldn't do it. The old said I couldn't do it. Look at me now.